Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So you've read the title, you know what's going on. Today I'm reviewing The Savior Sister by Jenna Moreci. So because I'm reviewing TSS, I wanted to do a Layla inspired look. So before I get into my review, I have two disclaimers. Disclaimer number one, I was sent a free ARC of TSS from Jenna in exchange for an honest review. Number two, I have been a fan of Jenna since like 2016. I love her to death. Her books are my favorite books, and I talk to her semi-regularly now, which is still kind of crazy to me. So this inherently is a biased review, but just know everything that I'm saying is my honest and truthful opinion. I really did love TSS. It's definitely my favorite adult fantasy book that I've read this year. It's so good. So let's talk about it. Okay, so for this review, I'm going to be splitting it up into 7 parts. Are going to be plot, world building, pacing, characters, romance, writing, and then finally just my overall thoughts. And I will have the timestamps for everything in the description box as well as the comments, just in case you want to skip around to whatever topic interests you the most. But I mean, maybe just watch the whole thing because I'm awesome and TSS is awesome. It's just a whole lot of awesome. Okay. Oh, also, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but this is a spoiler-free review of TSS, but if you have not read TSE, do not watch this video. There is a major spoiler for TSE in my review, so if you haven't read it yet, get on it. I will have links to where you can get TSE in the description box down below. Go and check it out. It's fucking awesome. I have my copy right here, actually. Here. Let's look at the beautiful, beautiful, handsome devil that is TSE. It's very annotated. I can't wait to get my physical copy of TSS because you bet your ass that bitch is getting annotated to death, okay? It's because I love it, okay? So let's start out with the plot. So TSS follows Layla, who is the Queen of Thesson, but ironically enough has no political power at all whatsoever. And basically, when Layla learns that there is a plan to assassinate her, she immediately works on dismantling that assassination by trying to figure out when it's going to go down, who is behind it, and all that shit. So TSS is a very royal and political book, and that's what I love about it. I love politics, and I just love fantasy books like this. It's probably one of my favorite like branches of fantasy. I just loved the plot. Jenna kept me captivated for the entire thing. There were so many curveballs and plot twists, and they shocked me to death, but it wasn't like just for shock factor. Like when I thought about it, they like logically made sense, which is really important to me because I would rather be able to guess a plot twist, which in this book I did not, but I would still rather be able to guess a plot twist than to read about a plot twist that makes no sense at all whatsoever. And it's like, we all just know those writers who just pull plot twists out of thin air that honestly just don't make any sense. So I'm glad that was not the case with this book at all whatsoever. And that's honestly all I have to say about the plot. So let's get to the second section, which is world building. So listen, I am a huge world building fan, and one of the things I actually didn't care for with TSE was that there wasn't a ton of world building. However, I've kind of realized after reading TSS and really thinking about it that it wouldn't have made sense if Jenna added in more world building with TSE. So I'm actually really happy that she didn't incorporate more world building because I feel like it wasn't really needed with that book. But with TSS, there was definitely a lot more that was added to the world, and that's just because it's really needed. And I think that the two main things that Jenna elaborates on that she wasn't able to do in TSE was A, the politics, and B, Layla's powers. So first of all, the politics. So Layla is obviously the Queen of Thesson, and we kind of just got to see the political system. There were a fair amount of Senate meetings in the book, so we got to see firsthand how all of the politics and stuff like that go down. And then, of course, Layla's powers. So just in case you haven't read TSE yet, basically the Savior is a holy being who has magical abilities, and the Savior is basically what keeps her entire realm alive and prosperous. So because of that, Layla has several powers and abilities, and I just loved the exploration of her powers and how they work and kind of the limitations that come with that. And I just want to say that her color magic is my favorite thing. Oh my god, I just love it so much. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but just know that her color magic is phenomenal, and I loved reading about that so much. It was amazing. Next, number 3, let's talk about pacing. So a lot of writers, including myself, are really fucking bad at pacing. And listen, the pacing of TSS was phenomenal. I would literally read like 100 pages in one sitting, and it would feel like I read like maybe 20 pages. It was crazy. Like, I read this book in 2 days, which is kind of unheard of for me. I very rarely finish a book in that short amount of time because I am a total turtle reader. But the pacing of TSS just made me want to keep on flipping the page, and it was really appropriate for each scene. So, for example, the romance scenes were very slow and detailed, but then something like the fight scenes were just very fast, go, 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 let's do this shit. And number 4, characters. So this is a very important aspect of a book for me, because if a book doesn't have that great of a plot, or if the author skips out on the world building, I can pretty much overlook that as long as the characters are good. And in TSS, the characters were fucking phenomenal. I loved Layla, and I loved Tobias. Oh god. Delphi and Hylas, though, oh my fucking god, y'all. Hylas was not in TSC, and he's so cute. I love him so much. But yeah, honestly, like, I don't know what else to really say. The characters were just super realistic, and I loved some characters, and then I hated others with a fiery passion. Also, look out for Talos, because I was not expecting like that relationship with him and Layla, and it was another part of this book that I really loved. Hi everyone, editing Kylie and Latix here. So you see, I'm a fucking idiot. I forgot to read off the last part of my script for this section, so sorry about this disruption, but I just want to complete this paragraph because like I feel like it's important to know. Anyways, so first of all, I want to talk about the character construction, I guess. So first of all, I want to talk about the character arcs, because I think character arcs are something in fiction that a lot of writers struggle with, and it can sometimes be hard to have an arc that just develops naturally and makes sense. And I loved Layla's arc in TSS, obviously. I mean, she's the main character. And I really loved how at the start of the book, she's one person, and don't get me wrong, I loved her at the start of the book, but I really enjoyed seeing how she grew and developed as the tournament went on, and with her relationship with Tobias. And I really loved how as she became the healer and, you know, was really helping people, I think that gave her like a whole other, just like it really like expanded her skills, because basically as you read, you see that Layla doesn't really know what she's doing at first. She's never, I mean, like, she is a healer, but like not in the way that she is in like the tournament, if that makes sense. So I really enjoyed seeing how that grew and developed, and just her character arc in general was amazing. And I also wanted to talk about flaws, because I think that a lot of times writers just write like perfect characters, especially with the love interest. So I already knew that Layla and Tobias were going to be flawed, because obviously I had already read TSC and I had seen their flaws there. But again, I just wanted to mention it because like Layla and Toby and pretty much all of the characters are definitely flawed, and they definitely have their good and bad traits. And although there are definitely some characters who don't get that much page time, so you don't really get to see the good and bad sides of them, for the majority of the characters you really get to see their good parts and their bad parts. And I just really enjoyed the complex characters and in TSS, and just the way that they interact with each other, and the dialogue is very realistic. And oh my god, The dialogue is some of my favorite thing ever. I just love it so much. So, okay, interruption over. Back to the video. Next, number 5, romance. So not only is Layla trying to just make sure that she doesn't die, she is also in a swoon-worthy romance with the artist, Tobias the Flyest. I love Tobias so much, and I think that TSS really, I think that it just unlocks a whole other, like, facet of their relationship, and I think it makes you realize how good Tobias is for Layla and what a relief being with him is. I think that we can all relate, at least to a small level, of your life really being shitty, but then you just have your significant other and they just make things so much better. You know what I mean? And I feel like with Tobias, he's just such a breath of fresh air for Layla, especially considered to all of the shitty people that she has to deal with in the palace. And above all else, like, it's just such a cute and healthy relationship, which is unfortunately so rare in fiction. And oh my god, I will always think back to that scene in the bedchamber. If you've read TSC, then you already know what I'm talking about, but towards the end when Layla and Toby almost fuck, but then, you know, Layla breaks down and she says that she's not ready to, and Tobias is, you know, like, totally fine with it, and I feel like that's the bare minimum. But, like, also, I've read enough books to know that that's not the route that a lot of authors take. So when I reread it from Layla's point of view, again, there was a whole other layer to it, but also it just made me appreciate it even more. And it's sad that I have to appreciate it, because that should be, like, the bare minimum. But people suck. So yeah, I loved the relationship between Layla and Tobias. They are so sweet, and I love them both so much. Number 6, writing. I honestly wasn't going to include this, but I felt like it was important to mention. But personally, I don't pay attention to, like, the actual, like, writing or, like, writing style of an author as much as I probably should. I will say that, like, when I really am trying to improve my craft, I will pay careful attention to the writing, but most of the time when I'm reading, I don't really pay attention to it. And what I will say with TSS is that it's not very flowery, and I mean, TSS isn't the most, like, eloquent or beautifully written book that I've ever read, but to be honest, if it was, I think that would be a little weird because of how dark the story is and the genre and stuff. So honestly, I really liked the writing. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, but I will say that there are several quotes that I just love. So I think that TSS is just a very quotable book, which I love. And lastly, number 7, just my overall thoughts, as I'm sure that you can tell by now, I fucking loved TSS. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I tried so hard to find something bad to say about it, because I feel like when you talk about books, when you don't say negative things about a book, it kind of makes you seem questionable, and it's like, come on, what's one bad thing? Like, just think of one bad thing. But I genuinely can't. I read TSS during one of the worst weeks of my life, and I really just needed to escape to somewhere else because life was shitty, and that totally did it for me. It's such an amazing book, and if you haven't pre-ordered it yet, you totally should. I have all the info listed down below. Please go and check it out. You can pre-order an ebook, paperback, or a hardback, and you can even enter Jenna's giveaway. Again, all the details are listed down below. Go check it out. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button down below and turn those post notifications so that you know every time that I upload. And yeah, that's all that I've got for you guys today. And comment down below and let me know if you've read TSC and what you think of it, and beyond all, how excited you are for TSS, because you already know I'm super excited. And that's all that I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.